Welcome back to Season 8 of Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture and the official podcast of Comicbook.com. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and with me today, I got my full squad. It's Matthew Aguilar, Janelle Wheeler, and Mr. Evan Valentine. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Good morning. How's everybody feeling?
It's a little sleepy. Wake it up out there. Come on, like get it up, get it up. We're podding.
Good morning. How is everybody feeling?
Yeah, we're not like a lot of these other podcasts out here. We're live, man. We are live. We jump out the plane every week. No parachutes. We gotta land like X-Men. We gotta land like X-Men. Some of us fly, some of us optic blast our way down. You know, it is what it is. We get down. I use claw drags. But speaking of X-Men today, you know, we're going to be talking about that finale to X-Men 97. We also have our week late reviews of House of the Dragon. So that's another finale we have to talk about. And we are going right down the HBO train. We got new stuff coming. We got to talk about Lanterns coming out this weekend. That's a big thing that's going to be happening. Oh, I never even finished this rundown. Oh my God, I didn't even finish the description for the show. I packed the show and then I didn't write down on the top what all's in it. But yes, besides that, we got to talk about some Avengers Doomsday rumors. We got to talk about what's happening at D23 and the 2 TV finales I said, and we have a new movie to talk about. This one's on streaming, so everybody can see it. We did not get out. I'll say at the top of the show, we did not get out to see the end of Oak Street, but you should. I'm going to probably do that this weekend because it looks like good B-movie fun that I'm going to enjoy. So I'll be doing that, but we'll talk about that probably another week. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Also, as you can see, if you're watching this live, as you should be, I have a guest on the couch. This is a guest. My guest is Secret Lab. If you are a fan, a gamer, anybody building any kind of fandom temple room, anything, Mr. Evan Valentine, who's a baller already. Oh, Janelle Wheeler, who's a baller. I didn't know I was joining the cult. Yeah. Apparently, I'm joining the cult of Secret Lab. So in honor of Spider-Man, Brand New Day, and all things Spider-Man, Secret Lab has put out, they have an awesome Spider-Man chair. This is just the open box portion of this. I'm just getting started with this awesome Spider-Man poster as the instructions. But yeah, so Daddy's going to be doing some construction this weekend. I have to improve my seating situation. I just turned 45. I'm old and dusty. I got to sit better. I've also got to get a better kind of fandom cave going. All these guys have all these fandom caves like already built. I just have some of the most awesome comics behind me in a box behind this couch. So that's what I've done with my life in fandom so far. So I'm upgrading Secret Lab. I'm going to do the build. We'll kind of have this on the show because you better believe I'm going to be like Dr. Claw in Inspector Gadget. I'm always just going to be sitting in that chair. Like, you know, every show is going to probably start, or Dr. Evil, like rotating my chair around. Yeah, so that's how we're going to be doing the show from now on. Nice Secret Lab chair. So shout out to Secret Lab. And yeah, we'll show you the finished product when we get done with that. So let's get into the actual show. Up first, Janelle, we've been hearing some crazy Avengers Doomsday rumors, you know, at Comic-Con. It started a wave of character kind of reveals that we hadn't seen before, and we haven't said it, but I love saying this, the Doom Witch, Doom Witch. Yeah. Doom got witches. You didn't think so? It's RDJ. Doom got witches, you know. He just rolls with like a whole squad of witches. That's just what he does. And so we have Doom Witches, but recently we got a pretty curious photo of one so-called Doom Witch, and now people are speculating. Now, I have written a thing about on the site, and you know, steady people, I know you're reading it because I see the numbers and the stuff, but breaking down all the leaks and stuff that we heard. And one of the big ones involves this possible character. So Janelle, this is your boy. You got to take this one away.
God. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you guys have not seen the image, make sure you check it out. There are a few witches of different colors and garb and design. And this one specifically is the brown. and he has a big circle in the middle of his forehead. And the way that we last saw my boy Doctor Strange, he had his third eye, and he was going somewhere unknown, and we have not seen him since, which has made me angry. And so this would make a lot of sense if he was somehow kind of entered into the fold with Doom. Maybe he's been, against his will, he's been forced to work with Doom and be one of his witches. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I don't know how it couldn't be him with this whether it's our Strange or one from, a different place. This just seems pretty obvious to me. This one seems
I think you
male.
just
I'm sorry.
complicated territory when you start bringing in some strange, you know what I mean?
It really does. It really does. So, of course, I would be really happy to see Strange. I want more Doctor Strange always. It would be a bummer to obviously see him on the wrong side of things. I'm hoping that it's an alternate version of him, kind of like from What If, like a corrupt version or something. But this also leads people, I don't know if I should go into it, but it's leading people into thinking that one of the other witches could possibly be my girl, Scarlet Witch. And so it's interesting because it's like all of my peeps and they're all on the wrong side of things. Um, she was kind of left for dead. People are thinking, is she dead? Is she gone? I think having her back personally would make me very excited. I was hoping somehow she would be in Vision Quest, or at least like, mentioned she has to be. Maybe she could return our Vision back to like his humanity or something. I don't know. That's me wishing the dream, the happy ending type stuff. But if she's instead working with Doom, then maybe that's where she is. All I know is like overall for me, I am pumped that there's even mentions of two of my favorite characters because you start to get nervous. I do feel like Doctor Strange has not been really like leaned into as much as I was hoping in this phase of the MCU. And so I kind of felt like he was neglected and maybe kind of forgotten. So it's really great for me to see any mention of him whatsoever. It makes me really happy. What are you guys thinking about it all?
I brought this up simply because I wanted to pitch the question to you guys. If this is true in this masked which character turned out to be Doctor Strange, I mean, we know the Hickman of it all for Secret Wars. But does this begin to feel too close of a retread to Infinity War? If we have Doctor Strange being like, well, the villain makes sense, and the only way to kind of get through this is to let the bad thing happen again, or aid the bad thing happening. Or would you rather see him like somehow have been turned by dark energy, dark dimension? Like, how would
Yeah, I'd
you?
rather see him turned or an alternate version of him, and maybe like ours would come back and like fight him or something.
All right. Okay.
Personally, because you're right, that does get to, if he's like trying to be like an agent, a secret agent, like that's a little too much for me.
Matt's being awfully quiet over there.
He's like, I don't care.
No, I do care. I just think, I mean, look,
Matt wrote the article, by the way.
I think the Doctor Strange thing is like, I don't know, it's almost like too obvious. And then like with the Russos, it's kind of like, well, sometimes too obvious is like straight up obvious. Like sometimes you would think that there's a twist, right? Like maybe it's not Doctor Strange. It's just some, like it's there to throw you off because it is so in your face, literally a third eye hole.
I love that you know this. Like that's so true. I didn't even think about that.
But like, maybe it's a swerve, but it's probably not. And it makes sense because like in the comics and during that event, Doom has everyone in his, he's cobbled together this kind of weird reality. And so, Doctor Strange is working for him. He's like his right-hand man in that storyline for a while. So like it makes sense that he would have all these powerful mystics and stuff as his people. So like it's cool. I like that they're going that route. But like the Strange thing, I don't know, it's almost like too obvious, and I'm like, okay, well maybe it's not. Maybe it's like a twist there, a swerve. But then maybe, maybe it's not. Maybe it's actually just exactly what I think it is. I feel like I need to go into Doomsday a little bit like that.
Wait,
like
the chat brings up a good point here. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Chicago. I'm not at D23.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to travel a little bit for Anissa's work, so I'm here and doing.
Okay, yeah. I was like, yeah, you know what? I was like, I don't know what he does.
I'm not at D23. I wish I was at D23. That would be super cool. I wish, actually, let me rephrase, because I actually wish I was. I don't actually want to be in the location, the physical location. I wish D23 was in Chicago. That'd be super cool.
I can't believe no one's saying that like the purple one could be Agatha.
Well, I mean, so it's funny. It's funny to go back to the comics in terms of like looking at this, because there is kind of this feels like a mishmash of like, it would be really tough to introduce like the concept of, for those who haven't read it, the original Jonathan Hickman written Secret Wars. There are a lot of elements that they just simply can't do in the MCU because it would be way too much. Like, imagine trying to explain the concept of like Black Swans, of the Builders, of the Beyonders, all those other things. So this seems like a good kind of way that the Russos are kind of like taking some of those elements. Like, this is the Doom Witches are effectively like stand-ins for the Black Swans, which were like effectively created as a cult of doom kind of thing, which was actually a really cool reveal in the original comic, because I can't remember what they referred to Doom as. Like, they give him a very crazy
God
mystical...
Emperor.
No, he had like a real. It was something akin to like Rama Tut or something.
Oh,
but like
yeah, no.
It was crazy in that regard. But this feels like kind of what the Russos, they took elements from the original comic, and this is kind of what they're doing. I think like those three witches, one of them is probably, I think it's going to be very funny that like if they have Clea and they have Charlize Theron and she's only there to effectively be like a Doom Witch. I find that very funny. I don't know if
like why?
like
yes.
Raboom Allow.
Rabu, yeah, there you go. See, you know, that's why I couldn't remember it. That's like the toughest.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this feels like a good like mishmash of elements. I'm excited for this part.
I like the idea of Sylvie, Wanda, and Clea. That's what I'm seeing a lot of. And then Strange. Yeah, I would get down with that. But then like people make a really good point, because they're saying, okay, so the only people that have the power, the correct type of power to battle Doom are on his side. And so it's just going to be like a slaughter. Like we need witches on our side.
We need some witches.
Seriously. I don't love that. That's why for me, it would be important that these are variants and not ours, and ours would come in and like work together. I could have a whole movie about that. I would be happy.
I mean, it's a thing. I think it's interesting because it is a whole side that I think there are a lot of sides of this movie that have been hidden just from the sheer amount of leaks and things I've seen, and how the story kind of has to fit together. Like, there's a lot of things that are just obvious without being said. It's like, and I think Marvel kind of shoots itself in the foot sometimes with this stuff. Like, I'll put money on the table right now that Teyonah Parris is in this movie. Like, I'll put money on the table that just says Monica Rambeau is in this movie. And she has to be, because
she deserves to be.
Yeah, and it's just part of the narrative of like what makes sense. Like, if they go to the X-Men universe and we never see that Monica Rambeau again, that does not make any sense. Like, her being there has to mean something in this whole, rumble between realities. Like, they've got one of ours, like that has to be part of this, right? Like, that's obvious. There's other obvious things. Like, if Doom is preserving, I don't think you can just take, like, we know he's got to be like Loki's throne is a part of this. There's all these little markers, and I feel like this is what the Russos have to do. Is we've done multiverse at all these different little points, like from America Chavez to Wanda to, I mean, the Spider-Man movies and Doctor Strange messing with it. Like, all of these people have been, like, Captain America, have been putting little cracks in the wall in these little ways, but they've affected reality, right? Like, they've changed reality. Franklin Richards, like this all makes sense that Doom would be coming to Franklin Richards at the end of that movie. It's like, what is his snatch and grab? Because this has to be a simple thing. Thanos' snatch and grab was 6 Infinity Stones. Simple. 1, 2, if you can count to 6, you can get this movie. So like, what's Doom's snatch and grab? Doom's snatch and grab is gotta be people or things that can, change reality. Now there's no reality stone anymore, right? Like, so take that off the table. So who are the people who can, if you put them all together, would be able to make an entire new world or reality, history, all that stuff together? And I think that's your snatch and grab. And I think it all ends with getting to then the place where you can affect all of reality, which would be Loki's throne, right? So that's like your goal line. And it's just like snatch and grab, snatch and grab, snatch and grab, goal line. But along the way, you got to go through so many of the things that you have to clean up. So those people who can affect reality, or we've seen affect reality, are all arguably on the table. And that is Wanda, Doctor Strange, Franklin Richards, yada, yada, yada. So it's just about like, how do you do all this in one movie, right? And because we've done no prep work whatsoever. So either you need one hell of a backstory exposition, or this has got to move at a kind of crazy clip. I don't know. It's not my problem to solve, but yeah, I kind of think they have been sidestepping that part on purpose. It's just like, look, kids, X-Men and Avengers.
But speaking of that, did you buy the Kevin Feige quote about like the difference between Thanos and Doom, and like how that wasn't really a buildup for like Thanos appeared in like a couple of cameos? Like, did you?
I don't.
What was your reaction to that?
Was that just me and Janelle cooking that week? I can't remember. That might have been just.
I think it probably was.
Yeah. Oh no, I went in. I got into Kevin Feige's behind about that. I was like, oh come on, man. I even wrote that in an article. I was like, yeah, because I wrote up that article about that quote, and I was like, well, elephant in the room. We didn't get Mandela, bro. Like, we all still remember Kang, and that like Kang was here. And if we needed a reminder, Jonathan Majors is popping up on screen in a crazy ass movie to give us a reminder that like, yeah, his crazy ass was once Kang. Man. So like, yeah, we didn't talk about that trailer, and we won't. But yeah, it's just like, yes, no, we didn't. We know you didn't build this up because we know you pivoted. Just like, stop the media stuff. And this is what I used to love. I got to talk to Kevin Feige. I sat down with him on Thor: The Dark World. And this was like real early Kevin Feige still. And we could have like a real conversation and do that. But Kevin Feige slowly becoming that robot Kevin from She-Hulk. And like, yeah, it's all media training. Like, that's a media pivot. Like, just be real. Just be like, look, lifes. You've seen us make this franchise.
Yeah.
We wanted Chadwick to be the face of this franchise. Oh, lifes. We have to pivot sometimes, and we had to pivot here, and it's just our job to give the audience the best story we can with the circumstances we've been given. Luckily, we work in the Marvel universe where anything is possible. So, just take this, Arbad, take this ride with us, and we promise you'll have fun again, and we have fun things planned on the other side.
It's like no one even
like I just
blames them for that. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's no reason to have to cover it with the media training thing, because it's like no one blames you for that. Like you did what you had to do. Like we got it. Like, it's just, like, yeah, I would always defer to the like, hey, we had to make the best of a bad situation, and we have Doom now. It wasn't what we planned. It's still going to be awesome. We're good. Like, I don't need all
it's Marvel. There's always another idea around the corner. Like, we have more than one, So, but that's not where we are. Kevin Feige's been through a hard couple of years. He's had a hard time. So we're going to give him some grace. But yeah, so it's interesting. But I'm beginning to believe more of the rumors that the real challenge is they've shot so many pieces of this and they have all the pieces, but putting it together is kicking their behinds in the editing bay. And I'm beginning to believe some of that. They brought in the Spider-Man Brand New Day writers at some point, because they were probably like, we need to put some kind of heart and soul in all this spectacle. Like, what is the through line? Like, what is the emotional beat? Like, what is it? Like, besides just mission points? So we're gonna see. It's a bold strategy, Con. Let's see how it works out for them. That's my whole thing on life these days. Because my kids are becoming adolescents, so that's pretty much what I say all day now. I talk to my wife, I just tap her, say it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for them. All right, so let's shift over to D-Tizzle. D23 Expo is happening as we speak. It's going to be a late night for nerds tonight. Marvel hits at about 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, where we are 7 p.m. Pacific time. So we will be getting the big Marvel panel tonight, but let's just start there. We have the benefit of always being ill-timed for these things, and we ain't doing no bonus episodes. So Daddy got a busy weekend, but let's talk, because there's going to be here where we are now, and then by the time we reconvene next week, we're going to be in a very different Marvel reality, possibly, or not. We'll see. Big things this week. I'm just going to crack out this one. I think Evan can probably speak to Star Wars, and of course our resident plush guy Maddie is going to be doing the Disney stuff. You mean you literally do have the most plushies out of anybody on this?
I mean, you're not wrong.
I know. It's been 8 years. Like I said, did you know, the other week, sometimes it escapes me that we've been doing this for 8 years and have remarkably somehow managed to generate so little income, merch, and everything else. But yes, we've been doing this for 8 years. It's actually quite a phenomenon. So Matt will hammer out the kind of the Disney stuff we expect to see, because there are some big things we could see from the Disney, Walt Disney live action, Walt Disney animated, Pixar, all that. So let's just kind of get into it. So Marvel, the big thing on the table is, because we've just been seeing a flurry of this X-Men casting going on, right? And we all thought maybe Comic-Con, but what are the odds that you think we're getting an X-Men cast announcement? Gene, I mean, the train is out. They have Spider-Man. Marvel likes to sync things up. And we said this in our kind of dissection of Comic-Con. We're like, okay, I know that was probably disappointing. No X-Men at Comic-Con, but you can't do that without also torpedoing Spider-Man Brand New Day. Who do you think you are, Steve Lacy? Like, stop. You can't do that. Yeah. Oh, man.
What an interview.
Yeah.
I think did everybody see they did have like a reveal that happened like really recently. Like, I was actually looking. Number one, I don't know if this is D23 related, but the Beyond the Spider-Verse trailer leaked.
Yeah,
I think earlier today.
Yeah, we didn't even put that in here. I didn't know they would do that.
No, it just happened. But the other thing is one of the things that I really wanted to talk with you guys about that was released at in prep for D23, actually, surprisingly enough, is from Vision Quest. They highlighted a mysterious figure who appears to be on fire, standing in front of a house that is also on fire. Many people have theorized that this is actually, I believe his name is Jim Hammond, the original
Human Torch.
The original Human Torch is going to be in this show, which is like really interesting. And that is a character that like isn't that the second character Marvel ever introduced? Like, I know Namor was the first.
Yeah. No, the first ever were the Invaders, which was Captain America, Namor, Bucky, and Human Torch. I believe.
And Human Torch. So that would be like, I never kind of expected him to show up. I think like it would kind of seem confusing in terms of like, oh, there's like another Human Torch, but he's an android and he killed Hitler. So it should be very, very interesting. Like, if he shows up, whether they change his origin story, how this new Human Torch would kind of, because Vision Quest has already kind of confirmed that Ultron is coming back in it, in some capacity. This series is kind of gonna be mimicking Tom King's Vision run, which everybody should read. It's an amazing comic book. But yeah, that's the first like concrete thing in terms of that I saw from D23 that they're kind of hyping up before we get into the most likely inevitable X-Men cast reveal.
Yeah, I mean, It's got locked down. We know Samara Weaving, Sadie Sink, and Kit Connor are all locked in. So that's I think then there's been more probably that we just don't even know about. We've heard rumors this week that Angel and Iceman could be. Bobby Drake and Warren Worthington III could be in this, and we're getting we've already heard Beast casting rumors, so it sounds like we could be getting the original 5 X-Men, which interesting if that happens. Like that'd be really interesting. Doing the original
cool
5. Yeah, original 5, but in like modern times. But then again, we are as of last night, you have Jeff Schneider dropping black French actress who could be apparently looked at to play Storm, which would be a flip, because there's always been this thing, are we going to get older teachers, younger students, or like how are we going to do this? So certain characters we thought could be aged up, so hearing Jamie Lawson possibly being Storm kind of made sense, as if she were the teacher. I thought they could do a flip, like the giant size X-Men be the older ones and the kind of these 5 kids being the newer ones. So you could have like Colossus or Wolverine, Storm, already being these kind of older people, and then the school being kind of a newer idea that Xavier does. There's also the Magneto of it all that's getting kind of heated out there about how do you reintroduce Magneto. I told you my theory on here, and you all in the chat almost immediately turned on me. And I thought I was being diplomatic, which was to say that Magneto would be the child or the grandchild of Holocaust survivors, and he himself would have been interned for being a mutant, and therefore it would be a chain of oppression that he kind of latches onto. This happened to my grandparents, then for being different, then it happened to me. So that's why I know it's going to happen and keep happening. And that's why y'all almost immediately turned on me for that. So I don't know how Marvel's going to do this at all. I don't know. It's not, we have the mutation. He can use magnetism and magnetic fields to slow aging, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then what about Xavier? Or he's older than Xavier and maybe knows some stuff, even though they might look the same age. And he's just like, look, bro, you're young, bro, and I'm older, bro. I'm big, bro, you little bro. So I don't know how they want to do that. But like I said, I don't have to make those decisions. But that's the thing with characters like Magneto that is tough, because it is such a cultural tie, and you really can't just sever that. So yeah, we're gonna see if, depending on the casting, we're gonna see how that works out at D23, because that's a big one. Who are Xavier and Magneto, or do they skip it all together and just make weird ass Adam Driver, Mr. Sinister, like we all want, and just make everybody happy? Like, we'll see. But I'm interested to see. You just got me more interested to talk about Vision Quest than I was. This series is beginning to feel like it could have, the Tom King, but also a lot of other stuff. Like, there is the Wanda question of it all. Then there is Ultron's back. Everybody's looking like humans for part of this. Like, we've already seen kind of story details that tell us that, there will be kind of everybody. So we'll see like Robert Downey, or not Robert Downey Jr. We are James
Spader.
Spader. Yeah, we'll see Spader and Paul Bettany and see them kind of like acting on screen, which will be cool. That alone is just a cool thing to see in TV. If you're a TV head or movie head, like seeing Paul Bettany and James Spader do something together is, I think, were they both in maybe Lincoln or something together? Maybe. I don't even know if that's true.
But they did make one of my personal favorite MCU moments, which, even though Age of Ultron wasn't the best Marvel movie, that final scene between Bettany and Spader.
Oh yeah, I mean that's probably
one of the best.
That's probably what sold this whole thing, is that scene. Because that scene is so good, and it's like, oh, I wish I could have had more time of them just talking to each other.
Yeah,
that would have been pretty good.
Well, I have grown to appreciate Age of Ultron far more in the last 3 years.
I gotta rewatch it.
Than I did when I really enjoyed it. I've watched it 9 times because Anissa loves it. And every time I watch it, I find another scene that I love, and I'm like, oh man, I think I was too hard on this movie when it came out.
Yeah, it's the one my son likes to watch a lot, the most, besides Infinity War, or actually he likes Endgame the best. But it's grown on me too. I think it was just such, at the time, the problem was Avengers 2 was God, this was like when I was really feeling myself, thought I was in the prime of my career because I got to do the press line and do all this stuff. But Avengers 2 was just this moment where the MCU felt like it took this disjointed jump. Like everything kind of they just did another Avengers movie. Like Iron Man 3 literally is like Tony Stark walking away being like, I don't need no stinking armor. And then the next movie is Avengers 2, where he's like, I'm in armor all over the world, just busting Hydra bases. And we were like, eh?
He's like 5 minutes. Oh, I can't do it. And immediately jumps back into the armor.
Yeah. So it was just like this weird kind of hyper jump. And also Spader. Like Spader was an offbeat. Like now you know that Ultron and you're like, okay, like I'm cool with it. But at the time, we all thought it was going to be like a much scarier, because they also marketed it as a much scarier movie. Like if you were at that Comic-Con, because we got Batman, that Comic-Con, we were on the biggest nerd high of our lives. We got the Batman Superman reveal that they were going to be in a movie together. And then it was just like Harry Lennox coming out reading that quote from Dark Knight Returns about I beat you and all that. And so everybody, and then they just showed the insignias together and we all went crazy. And then we got the Age of Ultron reveal. And that was like a spooky teaser. If you ever see that Comic-Con teaser,
it's the puppet thing. Like, lean into, all strings. Yeah.
So like we thought we were getting a much freakier movie. And when we got in there, it was a much more kind of, it was a crowd pleaser. It was like an all demographics movie. When you see it now, it's like for kids, it's for adults, because my son can sit down and watch it. And you're like, oh, okay, I see what they did here. And Ultron is scary at times, but never too much. And he's funny and offbeat and weird. And like, but now that we've settled into all of this, like the scale of it, some of the scenes they did, all that stuff, it is not, I mean, it's probably the best Joss Whedon's ever going to do in terms of like a big scale movie. Like, let's just be honest. Like, that was it. I mean, it is when you look at Avengers 1 versus Avengers 2 and see, you're like, oh yeah, he came far. He took a jump there. And then after that, we go to Justice League. So yeah, hold on to that one as a rare gem. It's like that Biggie Jay-Z I Love the Dough track. Like at the time, you're like, oh, that was a cool little track they did together. Now you're like, oh God, like that's a rare gem. That's a precious gem. We got to hold on to that, you know? That's for the hip hop heads. But anyway, so Vision Quest is getting, I mean, it could be one of those, I hope it is one of those dark horse, because it has been a dark horse year for Marvel TV, right? Daredevil Born Again season 2 was a nice return to form, if I do say so myself. Wonder Man kind of surprised us and being like, okay, like this was pretty cool too. And this, if Vision Quest comes through and not only is kind of quirky on its own, but also does something significant to maybe set some stuff up, good win for us after Spider-Man. We're on a high right now. Spider-Man's gotten us a little bit of hope. So yeah, we'll see. But they better, I mean, I hope they do make a splash at D23 to bring us around. I'm going to flip around. We expect to probably get that Avengers Doomsday trailer, a D23 special for them, probably, I would say. And then for the rest of us, probably that Comic-Con trailer released online, hopefully, would be my guess. Well, they'll re-show it at D23 plus probably some other things that blow the door wide open on how much bigger the movie is, some reveal, maybe the witches get a moment, whatever it is. So we'll see. But look for that trailer. And the thing I really want to talk about are the special presentation. Like, the special presentations. We've heard rumors those are coming back now. There's growing blurbs about that. And we got this week rumors about which ones we'll see. And 2 of them are pretty exciting. One of them is a sequel we've been waiting for, which is Werewolf by Night sequel.
Yes.
I want that bad. I want to see what happens with Elsa Bloodstone. It's crazy. That character has heated up so much in the last couple years. They should take advantage of that and probably get on developing her in the MCU. We do want to see more from Jack and Man-Thing, Ted, and all of that world. Yeah. And now that Ghost Rider, all of it's coordinated, because I started writing it as a news article and then I started looking into things and I was like, oh, this is much deeper. Like, this is all coordinated. Like, open up the supernatural side, because Ghost Rider and Ryan Gosling's coming. Now you have something to build around, right?
Yeah.
Blade.
I mean, you had something to build around and squandered it.
Well, we all mean, well, you know, we're not going to talk about it, but there was a change in socio-political things, and Disney has quietly made some changes that they don't want to admit to. Other people have been a little bit more obvious about it, but Disney's trying to play that thing. But no, we're going to get Ryan Gosling's Ghost Rider as the Supernatural Center rather than Mahershala Ali's Blade. Like, you know, that's just...
It had both. It's good. We could have had both of them.
Well, in an ideal American world, yes, we could. But here we go. And so we're going to build around this Ghost Rider thing. So yeah, the Werewolf by Night thing makes sense. The other thing was the hero for hire kind of special presentation, which would make sense because we've heard that the Defenders are getting back together in Daredevil Born Again season 3. And if after season 2, we got the Punisher spinoff, right? So what, or this Punisher special presentation to kind of wrap that character up or set him on a new angle. And so, yeah, giving us what we've been wanting since the Netflix days would be heroes for hire. Get, you know, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. It's a good place for Danny Rand, Iron Fist too. Like that was him and Mike Coulter were actually pretty good together when they teamed up the brief times they did.
I loved them too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I hated the way they made him such a brat, Iron Fist, in that team up, but like hopefully they can make people like him again.
But that was a good thing because Mike Coulter was like the dude who could, like, his Luke Cage would be like, really? Like you? Okay, Rich.
It just didn't feel authentic to what the actual Iron Fist show painted him as. He just seemed like a different person in each show. So I was like, wait a minute, I liked him in that show, but now I hate him here. Like I was confused.
Yeah, we all
I think
were.
everyone was.
But yeah, and whoever they team them with, because there's Jessica Henwick is out here killing it. She's in a million things. Like, I mean, it's from Silo to everything else. Like, yeah, give her, but she's like a martial artist. Give her that Colleen Wing. Yeah, let her bring back Misty. I mean, I don't know. Simone Messick is like, I mean, she's been getting that CBS money. She was doing the female judge show. Like, I don't know. She might be like, I don't know. I'm too old for this now. But there's other people to play.
Misty Knight.
Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah. But there's other people. It's heroes for hire. They've cycled in so many different heroes. So there's a lot of people you could put to it. And yeah, that'd be a fun concept to just like roll out as a special presentation. As like, yeah, we're taking a job. It's not like, you know, we get together, we're taking this job and like we're doing this thing for money. But what about the heroism? Yes, but also get the money. Yeah, that'd be a funny kind of thing to do. So, and then the third is Strange Academy, which we've been hearing rumbles of for a while. We thought it might be a series, but a special presentation is interesting to me because there are a lot of like little magical characters. Just the whole magical side, like the cosmic side, just kind of open and floating around. And I separate the magical and the supernatural as two different kind of things because one has to be kind of scarier than the other. But yeah, we have all these wizards, warlocks, Mordo, like all these people are just kind of floating around. So we do need something to kind of recenter all of that. And if we're getting Doom
Mordo's in the back rooms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, that's a funny story about that. Like, there's such a funny story about that. Oh my God. But yeah. Yeah, my son. Oh man, I'm gonna throw my son under the bus. He was convinced that Tremel Tillman was Chiwetel Ejiofor after we saw Spider-Man, and he was like, "That guy's from the back rooms and in Spider-Man." I was like, "Oh, buddy, no." I was like, "No, buddy, that's not the same person." I was like, and I had to try to convince him. And finally, I was just like, I was like, "Okay, how would he relate to this?" And I was like, "No, buddy, the back rooms guy is Baron Mordo," and he was like. And it like blew his mind. I could see the like dots like and he was like, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "Yeah, there you go." And then
he's looking for magic users in the back.
Yeah. But yeah, that's funny. But so yeah, I can see that pulling together as a good special presentation because it's going to take some budget, but you don't have to throw anything too crazy at it. But just like the concept of the Strange Academy is something you probably want to, like the Punisher. It's something you want to get in and do and just look at for maybe like a good hour 15 and then kind of bug out if they have to just solve some problem and get out. But it also would set up any number of magic users and new status quo for future things. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think these special presentations are one of the better things they have going for them, and they probably should utilize them more.
This does feel like a good like compromise in terms of, I think that it does feel like Marvel's going to start moving away from like big Disney Plus television shows, just because they are very like, you know, that's been one of kind of the things that's so difficult about these recent phases is like, you know, people have dropped off because they look at some of these shows as homework, and like, oh, you had to have watched WandaVision and Miss Marvel to know what was going to happen in the Marvels, and so on and so forth. So this feels like something where this feels like a good compromise. I'm all for just having like, you know, surprise you know, hour-long specials that can kind of look at, introduce certain characters, bring back certain characters. Like, Lord knows, man, I would love to see Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight come back. That is like one of the disappointing things I have with Avengers Doomsday, is that like, I thought for sure that Sam Wilson's Avengers was going to be a way for them to like shove in all the Disney Plus characters. Like, oh, he would have brought in like She-Hulk, and he would have brought in Moon Knight, and Man-Thing would be standing behind him in the thing, but like, unfortunately, no. So I'm interested to see like what they introduce. I think like Strange Academy, they probably wouldn't have well, that would have to take place long after probably even Secret Wars, Avengers Secret Wars comes out. But I would imagine you have Benedict Wong as the lead, and he's leading like a new, you know, they already planted the seeds in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness for like Strange Academy stuff. So, and also this would give them the opportunity to bring back America Chavez, who is still missing at like another of the many characters that are missing. MCU, bring back Hercules, man. I want to see a Hercules movie. I want to see them adapt that amazing Gene is it Gene Pack? His amazing comic book series and everything. So yeah, I'm
I just need my Champions presentation. Okay, just do my Champions presentation, and
that is one of the rumored ones, right?
Yeah, it's just let's make it happen, and kiss Young Avengers goodbye. It was great. I loved you. Champions has always been the smarter move, especially for the characters that you have there, and that was part of Elite concept art forever ago. So the idea has been churning around. Just do that. Put all your younger characters together. America Chavez is another perfect example. Put them in there. Throw them in there. It gives you the wiggle room later to be able to, you know, put Miles in there if he ever joins, and Nova and all those people that are like bubbling, right? Like all those things. Just put them all in there.
Do you guys think
presentation?
Do you guys think we get a full slate? Or like at least a partial slate? Because there's a lot of things that are bubbling. I've seen Hercules bubbling. I've seen Nova still on the table. Champions, like, you know, is bubbling. So
yeah, I think that. I mean, I always thought like, I'm not going to talk a lot about Hercules, but I always thought it was very like, Hercules seemed like the way that like Chris Hemsworth isn't going to be Thor forever. Obviously, no one can be their characters forever. So I always thought that would be like the most interesting way of like handing off the baton rather than giving someone else the hammer. You just have Hercules is like the new god or whatever, and you set him up at the end of Love and Thunder, and it could kind of, you know, go from there and everything. So yeah,
I mean, people don't know the difference between Norse mythology and Greek mythology. I don't know. So as long as they get the helmets right, Matt's how it be, you know, it's an easy win. So yeah, see the Odyssey. All right. Yeah, I'm going to be interested. We're talking hypotheticals that are going to be solved in mere hours, so we're not going to. By the time people hear this, anyway, there will be a firm thing out. So this is a good use of our time, obviously. I'm hyped for the Star Wars stuff. We're just going to move through that fast. We think we're going to see a Starfighter trailer, maybe Ahsoka season 2. And the thing I'd be interested to see is the first teasers from Maul Shadow Lord season 2, because we heard that was kind of moving already in production and in pipeline. So I'd be kind of cool to see that. And any updates on like what's going on the film side with like, are we getting the new Jedi Order? Is this Simon Kinberg's trilogy? Like what's happening? Yeah,
that's still
and
happening.
and give me and again, just like special presentations for Marvel, give me updates on all my little cool Star Wars side projects like Visions and Tales.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Let me know what's coming next. Real quick, the final thing, we got a trailer. We're always controversial about this show up here, but this one I was interested to see because this is a throwback for Ryan Murphy's Monster series. The last one, like, so Dahmer was a smash, but it really disturbed people, obviously. I think the most successful one was the Menendez one. That was like, that blew up real big. And then the Ed Gein one really kind of made people slightly angry or turned people off because of just this weird stylistic way they did that season for that particular character. And now we're going back even further to like one of the OG slasher killers from real life, Lizzie Borden. So Evan, Simpsons. That's like how most people know Lizzie Borden, though. That's the crazy part is that
I know that is really how most people know Lizzie Borden.
So, what did you think?
I mean, like the monster. It's like the Jeffrey Dahmer one was like the best one, I feel, and man, I was not a fan of the Ed Gein one, which is unfortunate because like there have actually been like a lot of really interesting like looks at Ed Gein's life. I would recommend everybody read Ed Pell's Whatever Happened to Eddie, or did you see what Eddie Gein did? That's an amazing graphic novel. But I'll wait to hear like what other people when they watch this think of it to like, you know, see whether this is. I certainly don't think that this is gonna. You cannot have the same approach to this series as you did for Ed Gein simply because Ed Gein did, for better or for worse, have a giant influence on like pop culture and media and like all of the movies. You know, arguably Ed Gein helped to create the slasher genre, which is really kind of weird when you look at it. But like, aside, as we were saying, like the biggest thing that a lot of people know Lizzie Borden for is that Simpsons reference where with from the Halloween episode and everything. But I hope that I think that there are ways to kind of, you know, present the story of some of these killers in a way that's like that could be compelling and interesting. But in terms of what we've seen, I'm not that confident based on the previous Ed Gein one. And you know, maybe this will turn out to be more like Jeffrey Dahmer versus the last.
I'm gonna be honest. Ryan Murphy's losing me across the board. The things I did like have gotten weaker, like American Horror Story and Monster.
You're not excited for that Avengers Endgame style season of American Horror Story coming up where they bring back every single character from.
It's always a good sign for a show.
Always a good sign.
Always a good sign. And like the new stuff, like what is it, the Shards or the Brent Easton Ellis adaptation, stuff like that. I'm like, come on, man. What is this, 1991? I don't want to watch this stuff. Like it's all just. I think Ryan Murphy's become too like Tyler Perry. Like he's now just making Ryan Murphy stuff. You know, just you know what I mean.
It's really sad because like, man, the first season of American Horror Story is legitimately really good, and especially like the second season, the Asylum one. And the third season, Coven. Those are like really interesting, good like horror seasons, and it does kind of feel like he's just doing too much. I think it's like that. He's doing too many things, and everything is kind of suffering as a result of that. I feel, and like man, because I have not watched a season of American Horror Story in a minute, but like there's been like I think I haven't seen like 8 of them. Or something like that, and every time I try to watch one, I'm just like, oh, I can't get through the rest of this. Kind of.
It's okay. I fell off the last one, and I'm all right. But all right, so that's good. We just highlighted something we don't enjoy. We're killing it this episode.
But by the way, real quick, we skipped over Disney, and I did want to highlight.
Yeah. Please do.
But super quickly, because there's like, I did want to highlight the fact that they are fully teasing Frozen 3 is going to be a focus. They've got, like Vision Quest, they have, like, people have already been seeing some of the costumes and some of the things. Like, they are very much putting a spotlight on that at D23. So I'm guessing it won't be a full trailer. I don't think. Maybe it will, but it would probably be like maybe a snippet of one of the new songs would be revealed, or maybe a clip, something like that. Like some
an announcement
small
trailer.
thing. Yeah, but like something along those lines of, it's still a little further out, but like it's gonna be huge, right? And I did see like man, I shouldn't go on X at this point, I know, but I still see things. I still think see things pop up, and it's like, why are we doing Frozen? Because it's Frozen. Because like it's
if there's gonna be one you do as a
huge
trilogy, it's like, yeah, I mean, and it's easy to do the
Frozen.
arc.
Frozen's huge, man, and also like we love Frozen in the South. Like, still,
it's also just you can do an arc with them, then ending up in the same place where their parents were at one point. Like, there's a whole arc.
There's a lot to mine there, and also this is the same. It's always the same people, right? Because it's the same people that said Zootopia wasn't going to be anything, and Zootopia was. Clearly, there's a huge fan base for that. And if Zootopia was big, what do you think Frozen's going to be? Like, that's a ginormous franchise. So anyway, I'm excited for that. The other ones I'm excited for are Hexed, which is the Haley Steinfeld led animated film. That one looks really cool, and but we haven't again seen like full footage and things. I would say we get maybe a teaser trailer for that. The other one is Gato, which is Pixar's like Black Cat in Paris story. That one,
now Venice.
I feel like we actually would get a Venice. Okay, Venice.
It's Italian. It's I don't believe they're doing this, but it's like, yeah, it's in Italy, and it's like the real Italian mob, but as cats.
That sounds amazing and in their hands. So that one I would actually say, since that one's actually pretty close compared to everything else, that one we actually I feel like might get a full trailer for. And then the other big things teased down the road, kind of people are expecting a big update from Incredibles 3. Some sort of update, again, not a trailer or anything like that, it's too far out. But also I would say Lilo and Stitch 2 might get some fun kind of thing, because that thing's been bubbling as well. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It should be fun for Disney fans. Also, there is a full Disney Lorcana panel that should get some big things there too. I'm excited for that. So lots of fun Disney stuff.
I will also say I like getting park updates as well. Like, I know we don't cover them here, but I get really excited being from Orlando. Like, it's very close to my heart. I get really excited about Disney World updates. So I'm gonna be like tuning in on that part.
Evidently, shout out to that. Popping for that. Yeah, like there's some really big ride stuff. Evidently, maybe the Indiana Jones thing is getting some shine too. So yeah, the park stuff is going to be huge here.
What about Pirates 6?
Oh man, I don't know.
I don't need it personally.
Yo, we're getting entire trailers that are just not even about the movie, just saying Johnny Depp is back. Like that Ebenezer trailer, I saw that, and I was like, I was like, that's crazy. So it looks like Johnny Depp's back in business. So you think we get a Pirate 6 announcement? Jerry Bruckheimer just runs out, screams it, and then just runs away?
Now would be the time, right? If you're going to announce it, I feel like take advantage of momentum, because while I did hear a lot of people commenting on the fact that like the Ebenezer thing was so Depp focused, like, hey, I mean, it was literally the entirety of the thing, even though there were parts of that actually were hilarious to me. I love the ending part of that trailer. I thought that was great. But like, it was a Depp trailer. I would take advantage of it, because the reaction to that was not bad.
I mean, the funny thing about that is, like, I was so not on board with that idea. I mean, just not even so much as like Johnny Depp as Ebenezer Scrooge, sure, fine, whatever. But like, we've had so many Christmas Carol movies. There's like been one for every, like, it feels like there's like one released every year. But I will say the number one thing that like has me thinking, oh, I might actually see this, is like it's directed by Ty West. Ty West typically directs like grindhouse horror movies like Pearl and X and Maxine, like that whole trilogy. And like, I love his work. So I'm excited to kind of see what he does with that in general. But like, aside from that, originally that was like not on my radar. But like, weird horror Christmas Carol thing would be interesting.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention Violent Night too.
I think we talked about it a little bit. Yeah, it's Kristen Bell.
We were supposed to touch on it last week, but we just kind of
kind of missed.
Kofi and I got ahead of ourselves on other things.
Yeah,
that's like the dumbest trailer I've ever seen. I'm sorry.
I think this one looks better than the first one. Like, I feel like this one is like stupid awesome. Like, it's just
I think
goofy.
I think so too. I think the first one is Tommy Wirkola, and I felt like the first one took itself a little bit too seriously.
I agree.
For a lot of runtime, and so I want them to just lean into like, how nuts this one is.
I really wanted him to
Kristen Bell.
I really wanted him to fist fight Krampus in this. I'm sad that he's not.
Stop trying to like on Red One. Trying to step on Red One territory. Yo, no, don't even do that. See, don't disrespect Red One like that. Nobody's doing that. I
never even saw Red One.
What?
Oh yeah, I never saw. I never saw.
Red One is the only thing I take out of these new Christmas movies and hold up and say, no, you should watch that every year. Red One with Chris Evans and The Rock. Yeah.
I love that
Red One's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yes.
And the Krampus scene is with Tormund, giant Tormund from Game of Thrones as Krampus.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
And all the prosthetics. Yeah, they do. He has a slap box fight with The Rock. That is one of the funniest things you'll ever see in your life. Really yeah, it's really good. You got to watch Red One. It's a surprisingly good movie. That is an underrated cult classic Christmas, like modern Christmas classic. We watch that in this house every year. It is one of the only things I can show my kids that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has done that is worthy of them to praise, that. And when you see Jungle Cruise in a hotel, if you're ever watching Freeform in a hotel room, Jungle Cruise does pretty well.
Jungle Cruise is fun.
Yeah, but you need the commercials. I can't watch it as a serious movie. I need commercial breaks. Anyway, so we have gotten really off the path today. Normally I'd say let's take a break, but we don't have time for that. So we just got to add the breaks. Add the breaks in post. We're going to have to add the breaks in post. Sorry, Richard. We're going to add breaks in post. We got to keep it rolling. We got to talk about these finales. Janelle, X-Men finale.
Cried. Sobbed.
Good. All right,
sobbed,
moving right
cried.
along.
Guys, why am I?
No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
I love mutants. What is
going on?
Wow. Oh my God.
Wow.
I love this show. I don't know if I've ever really cried like that from an animated show. I don't know Nightcrawler very well. Like I started to get a little like, oh, is he a priest? Like, oh, I have a Catholic background. So I was just kind of like, oh God. And then like, he made me question things. I'm like, okay, like his line about having faith at the end, I just lost it. I legit lost it. It was such a good show. I can't even comprehend how much I like. It's crazy. It's so good.
I've come so far.
I know. Oh my God.
X-Men 97 just did a whole.
I truly believe
civil rights activism it did.
Yep. This is what just changed the game for me. Yep, this show.
I have not been. I'm with you so much on that, Janelle. I have not been as emotionally devastated by a piece of media in a really long time, and I was like not. And it was like legitimately my heart. I cannot express enough how much my heart sank when they showed the where Rogue was like, "Oh, why aren't I dead?" And then they showed Beast holding the Bible, and you just and I'm like, "No,
stop!
Kurt,
you're gonna make me cry right now." Also, I hate Celestials. Like, I hate them. Like I thought Celestials were really cool at one point when I was reading old comics, and now I'm like, I hate you guys so much. Like, I hate you.
And I love the Celestials because just like I love the Titans. People, you all be thinking, everybody has all these new gods. You guys forget the old ones, man. The old gods are brutal. They're like,
they don't like us.
Yeah, they're like, what?
They just hate everyone. They have no empathy. They're like math machines or something.
And I think like kind of one of the I do totally get. I know a lot of people like. I think the general statement online is pretty much like season 2 isn't as good as season 1 for X-Men 97, and I kind of agree with that in terms of like it did feel like they did try to do way too many plot lines, and not all of them landed in the same way that like season 1 kind of effortlessly jumped between all of them. That being said, I would be remiss if I also didn't mention like that the post-credit scene of this finale finally brought back or finally gave us an idea of like what's going to be in season 3, which is like Mystique has finally arrived in the show. Everybody, which is ironic because everybody for the longest time kind of thought that Val Cooper was secretly Mystique this entire time, only for it to be revealed that she will be. Mystique may or may not have killed Val Cooper, is probably going to take her place in now a Graydon Creed administration that is sure to be a very big problem. Fingers crossed that we also get Onslaught. But honestly, like I think like a season that has Mystique as the main villain with like we haven't seen the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants really appear or anything, and so like that's gonna hopefully be a big part of season 3. So like there's problems with season 2, but ultimately like it's still really good. Like I was my heart was torn apart, much like Janelle when it came to the end of that episode. I was so, because Nightcrawler is my favorite X-Men. For me, he represents the perfect like everything that comes with being a mutant. Like he can't go out in public. He has one of the coolest power sets. And Kurt is just such a dynamic, amazing character in terms of like he's a pirate and he's a priest and he's led a couple of X-Men teams by himself and all these other really cool like he is constantly like it's. And I don't think they're gonna bring him back because like the end of his story is just kind of too perfect. And honestly, I almost wouldn't want them to, even though I love Nightcrawler so much. So yeah.
Yeah, it didn't get me. I mean,
What?
I thought that was a letdown because if you read X-Men comics, Kurt's always doing some dumbass stuff like that. He's always doing some dumbass stuff like that.
I'm learning.
Remember how he died the
Sacrifice
first time where he teleported inside of an arm? I remember.
Yeah, like
Oh, wow,
he's always
okay.
doing some dumb stuff like that. He's always laying himself down and get taken out. He's like, all right, because I mean, sometimes that's why you love the Intense Faithful, because they're okay. They're like, all right, I'll lay it down. You're like, go with God, buddy. But
go with God.
no, when I thought they were gonna really smoke Rogue and break up Rogue and Gambit again, I was like, oh, that's gonna be rough because Gambit's gonna feel like a POS if he's just left here alone and Rogue sacrificed herself for him. I was like, that's nuts. But but that that got me. I could be a sap for that kind of stuff. But then when Kurt swung in and did that, I was like, oh, all right, like he's out of here. Plus, as soon as they did it, I was like, I don't know how I didn't see that coming because there were death flags all over him. He got so much like. They gave Nightcrawler so many like little because I wrote about how I think season 3 really needs to be more about a serialized storyline and stick to that.
Yeah.
Because these are only like 8 or 9 episodes. It's not like the animated series, which had like upwards of 20 per season for most of the seasons. And so like that's the problem with season 2 is like we started off with this amazing 3-episode arc that were in 3 different places, but all connected and all kind of serialized. Then we started doing like Danger Room episodes and Wolverine episodes, and then that weird Nightcrawler courtroom episode. But it's like, yeah, they gave Nightcrawler a whole thing to explain his faith, his whole point of view, a whole episode of just him doing a talkie. They gave him a scene of just laying hands on everybody that's been clipped up in that battle scene where he's just teleporting and just whipping everybody's behind. And it's like,
so good.
Yeah, you gave him all the moments because those are going to be his last moments. I was like, oh, I should have seen that coming. But no, it didn't hit me as much. And not for nothing, I've never been like the biggest Nightcrawler fan. But yeah, he just. Anyway, Janelle, I know you got to go in a minute. Do you want to tell us what you thought about Janelle's last thoughts?
I was just yelling at you. I was like, do not cut the X-Men conversation short for me because Matt needs to talk about it.
Oh, no, we're not. I just want to see before you get out of here, just give us your brief House of the Dragon take.
House of the Dragon, it kind of fizzled out for me personally.
Okay, you can leave now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, it's hard to go.
I think it's just because I loved X-Men so much. Yeah. No, it was really cool, but like I think I'm just Game of Thrones out. I'm glad like I have a moment to breathe at the Also, my child likes saying "hold the door" now. It's wild. Like he's literally like "oh da da." But yeah, no, go back to X-Men, please, and I will see you guys next week.
All right, take it easy, Janelle.
Okay,
Man,
You can leave.
what a full circle journey.
Can't believe she said that. See, this is what happens. You give
That's
people one
fantastic.
last chance to say something, they burn you. All right, back to X-Men. Matt, you are our biggest X-Men head. Yeah, like out here. What did you think of this season? What did you think of the ending?
I thought the ending and the beginning of this season were like some of its strongest. I think it's one of those things where like if this had been the finale of the season that I thought we were getting, which was essentially like a season full of apocalypse, a season of that initial 3-episode arc, this would have been like really the perfect way to bring that home. It doesn't hit as hard, not the final moment, because that does. I'll always be a sucker for Nightcrawler putting his faith front and center. It's always I love that about him in the books, and he's such a great character for those kinds of things. He crystallizes moments for the X-Men almost unlike anyone else really in the team. So like I loved that. But that said, the season was disappointing, and it really was just there's too much jumping around. As cool as it is to see, like, oh man, we got X-Force and we got X-Factor, and oh man, we got a whole episode, because like I like the Wolverine episode. Like I'm one of the defenders of that episode. Like I like that. However, doing all of that in the same season, it's just too much. Like we got so far away from the thing that was supposed to be the basis of this entire show, and I felt like we just dropped that for multiple episodes until right at the very end. Like, okay, we gotta bring that back, and it's like, what? Why? Like that's kind of why in season 3, I hope we keep it to Mystique and Onslaught, and that's it. Let those be the pillars of the season. Build everything around then. If you do any subplots and stuff, which you obviously are, and I love subplots in the show, but like let's keep them 2 subplots, and let's keep those 2 things, because that's enough. One of those is enough for an entire season. You could totally do an entire season just based around the fact that Mystique is this person in the middle of the administration, can affect things, and no one knows. Like it was one of my favorite reveals. I forget which issue it was back when, and this was about Beast. When it's revealed that Dark Beast has taken his place, and he's trapped in the wall, and he's building the brick wall, right? And he's like, "Oh, you're
on
good
that Edgar
now.
Allan Poe, you're
here, and I'm gonna go cause complete chaos, right?" That's one of my. So like, I like when we do that kind of thing in X-Men, but you could build a whole season around that. But the Onslaught teasers are there, and we're clearly going that way, and I'm cool with it because I like Onslaught. But that said, that wasn't an event level thing in Marvel that brought all of the Marvel heroes together and got rid of the Avengers. That led to a whole reset of things. That's a huge thing. It does not need to be a B plot in season 3. That needs to be a focal point thing. And so I just hope they don't lose that and do it too much. I pop for some of the cameos, but you know, you gotta rein some of that in if the story, you're losing it a little bit. So I really enjoyed the season, not as much as season 1. Season 1's still clearly better for me, but I really like moments. Maybe I'll say like some of the highs in this one may be better than season 1, just because of the nerd geeky X-Men stuff that you get to see in this, that like I didn't think we'd get a full X-Force, X-Factor thing on screen. Like I would not have predicted that, oh yeah, Polaris is going to steal the show in season 2 of X-Men 97. No. That's awesome. That's a cool thing. So I don't want to yuck anyone else's yum too much. I just will say that like I hope we shift things a little bit. Let's rein it in and let's do a kick-ass Onslaught story, because that would work. So that's what I hope for.
Yeah, I want just serialized, focused storytelling. I think in my piece I said, you know, this show doesn't have to try to pretend to be X-Men the animated series anymore. Like we don't need that. Like it's become such like its own thing that it should just kind of start telling stories according to its own pacing and focus. Like if we're doing side quests or standalone episodes, it should be related directly to the main storyline. Like Wolverine's going to get adamantium or find out something about Apocalypse that needs to be done. Like, that kind of stuff. Because each standalone wasn't bad. They were each well written, but like overall as a season, when you're like, oh, this is now the end, and we just get into this 2, we had these 3. We essentially had like 3 episodes. We had 5 episodes that were related to each other, and 4 episodes which were just kind of not filler, but like feel like it because of the way they're kind of just put into the season. So yeah, I want to improve on that in season 3. But what people really want to know, Matt, how about that Lanterns? In a word, should we be excited?
You can't say nothing.
He could tell. He can't say anything about the show. He could tell us about us. He can say, "Should we be excited?"
He can tell us about us.
He can tell.
Yes, I think you should be excited, and I think everyone should pay attention to the Comicbook.com over the next.
In about
that's all I'm saying.
1 hour and 45 minutes.
I'm just gonna leave it like that. But yes, I think you should go back and listen to all of our Lanterns discussion previously, and yeah, be excited for it. It'll be good.
You heard it here, folks. All right. So we're going to be doing a bunch of Lantern stuff. So comic books about to be popping over the weekend. D23 content, Lanterns content. Matt's already on it because they showed that first 5 minutes. We already got to. Matt's already breaking down stuff for you. So if you haven't go on comicbook.com DC right now and go watch the first 5 minutes of Lanterns and see what Matt breaks down for you about lore, because there's already lore breakdowns happening. So we're on top of it, and we're going to be talking about it.
In my sleep.
You couldn't have got me to admit that with a gun to my head. I would not have admitted that, but there you go. Matt says it in his sleep. All right. Let's talk House of the Dragon. Yeah, so House of the Dragon finale. I disagree with Janelle. I vehemently disagree with Janelle.
Sucked. No, just kidding.
This was one of the best Game of Thrones battle episodes I have seen. And I know Matt is going to sidebar for that conversation, but this was one of the best battles in Game of Thrones I've seen in years. Like it's been a while since we've had like a siege kind of episode, and those are big because I mean, like Battle of the Bastards was a siege against where they were trying to retake Winterfell. The Battle on the Wall, the Night's Watch or Watchers on the Wall was against the Wildlings and holding the wall. Battle of King's Landing, of Blackwater Bay, same thing. Those are some of the biggest episodes of Game of Thrones of all times. So the Battle of Tumbleton is a big thing from Fire and Blood. It's a big turning point. As we saw in this episode, there's a lot of things that happen that change everybody in this show, in this finale. And I thought in Game of Thrones is also notorious for having like great penultimate episodes, but weak finales. And this was, I felt like completely the opposite. Like the penultimate episode was kind of muted and setting people up. And this was all hell broke loose because I was really at the beginning, I saw it was like an hour and 11 minutes. I was like, are we going to get a real true battle out of this? And hell yeah, we did. It is nuts. And shout out to my man Chibs from Sons of Anarchy. I always forget his name, the Scottish actor who's like in everything, who plays the Stark guy in this episode.
I don't know. I can't remember that guy's name.
Oh, I'm trying to look it up because Tommy Flanagan. Yeah. Tommy Flanagan's in everything. He's in Gladiator, Braveheart, Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the guy with a scar who goes across his face, the Scottish guy. And he played he plays what's his actual name? It's too many damn Starks. Or no, Roderick Dustin. He plays Roderick Dustin in this, Lord of Barrowtown and head of House Dustin. But one of who's a Northernman. And yeah, I'm still talking about my friends about his scenes in this and just how crazy this battle is. Like they put children in the battle, and you're like, oh well, now the heroes have to figure out a way around this. But then you forget this is Game of Thrones, and there are no heroes. And yeah, when Tommy Flanagan's character sees that little boy swing something at him, and you're like, oh, he's just gonna walk right past him, right? Nope. This is Game of Thrones. He just takes that kid's face off. Damon burns up some kids. They didn't get out of the way in time. We all know that. But yeah, this was a wild battle. And I think what this did is basically kind of one of the powerful things it did for me is it revealed to people like true things about themselves that they didn't want to see, because we were talking about this through House of the Dragon all season. And last episode, there were these rumblings where people were beginning to see cracks in the facade of who they were. They were facing kind of, the truth about who they were. This is people just having to go full tilt. Either they lean into it or they're forced into it, that everybody figures out, who they really are, and they're not so great. Rhaenyra, we see go full Daenerys in this, getting up. And once you start getting up in front of people, say, well, I'm anointed by God and it's me and stuff like that. Like, even if you're right, and we know she's tragically not right, if you don't sound so great. And once you start stabbing priests, that's never a good thing. Yeah, we see Daemon. One of the best things I think is Daemon waking up in the midst of a town that's been destroyed by dragon fire, as him being the most kind of like dogmatic, we are gods, we have dragons, this thing, and having to realize like, oh, these are just really are weapons of mass destruction, and this is nuts and horrible, like what they do to people. Yeah. So the battle itself was thrilling. The kind of lessons learned and the setup, and even the ending where we get this kind of powerful thing with Rhaenyra just closing the window. And Matt, that probably had no effect on you, but that is the second time Game of Thrones has made us watch somebody jump from that window. That is the second time that a child has had to, well, Helena's not a child anymore, but the first time was a child, which is one of the most famous memes of all time now, right? If you see Tormund, when he just steps up to the window and lets him, and then just falls right out of it, and rather than, deal with his mom. But yeah, it was crazy. Shout out to this show. I thought this is a thing where I think this season overall was excellent. Like, as an entire season was excellent, no matter the low points it may have had or the drags. Like, all together as a season, and delivering on it was really well done. And I'm back in. And this has just been we haven't said like what a band, like, comeback year this has been for Game of Thrones, like A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and this season. I mean, even Matt is now believing in a new kind of style of helmets. He's got his Game of Thrones helmet collection.
Really selling them on the helmets.
You know what? Janelle's an X-Men fan, and I'm a Game of Thrones fan.
Yeah, it's been transformative this year. We have done so much work on this podcast. What'd you guys think? I mean, I'm the biggest Game of Thrones head, so what did you guys think of the finale?
You pretty much hit all the points that I think, and like this was something where I really caught up on House of the Dragon before season 3. So I was like, had a binge fest of making sure that I was up to date on this and everything. But I thought the finale was strong enough. Like you kind of mentioned earlier, Kofi, I think like siege episodes in Game of Thrones have always been like kind of bigger than some of the other things. I think when Game of Thrones, some people might think like there's not enough action in Game of Thrones or what have you, but I think like whenever they do have something, as big as this, they always bring the goods in general. And I thought that they were, obviously like they've just had a lot of different moving pieces that they were able to kind of put together here. So like I was happy enough with what I saw from the season finale.
Yeah, I
Matt,
this
as a newcomer, yeah, you're just House of the Dragon, so
this kicked. And maybe it's because, well, okay, so like there are things I clearly missed, like Sir Gleen's wonderful comment of that window is undefeated, right? No context. Like I have no context for things. So like that was a cool scene, but like there's pieces missing when I watch it compared to others, and I fully get that. And there were a couple moments in here where maybe I thought like, okay, like maybe there's something else to that I don't get, but like just within the episode itself, I was in, like I was fully, this was awesome. So much action, it was so well done. While I don't have all of the history and stuff of the franchise from those other things, maybe that worked in my benefit here because like I haven't seen a lot of those episodes. Like I haven't seen Siege episodes really that many times unless it was in this show, right? So like I don't have all that context, but like, so I don't have anything to really compare it to other than the stuff that's already come in the show. And I thought this was awesome. So I haven't had like a lot of lows this season. I've thought it's been a really good season. So that's true. This nerding. That is a very accurate. Yes, that is me not knowing where the sample is from. That's accurate. So yeah, no, I dug this. I thought this was really good. And you know, we keep inching towards the Game of Thrones deep dive of going into season 1. And I think that might happen during the break between this and the next season. That might happen. I'm not like, I wasn't as taken by Seven Kingdoms as this. I think that this one is the one I prefer. So
I was the opposite.
Yeah. I dig it.
All right. There you have it, folks. There we go. So yeah, hot D, still hot. You want to go on to comics?
Oh yeah, did you want the Last House?
I didn't get to read that yet. I'm gonna be honest. I'm behind. I got through Batman because Batman was longer.
No. The Last House, the Netflix movie.
I thought you're talking. I'm thinking of Nice House by the Sea. I was like, wait.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I haven't gotten to that.
Man, you should read that. That is a good horror story. I do love that.
Oh no, that's my special. That's the thing. That's my precious. I sit down and want to read that. And like, I get a chair and some coffee. Every issue of that I read, and this is about to wrap up nicely. Yeah, The Last House. Look.
Yeah,
we can make the end of the show kind of brief, okay? I'm 3/4 through the way through, but I had to get up and turn it off. It's been a long time since I've almost thrown a remote at the TV over a movie. But the little girl in this movie is an element that has ruined this entire movie for me. Like there are characters that just annoy you with just how dumb some of their decisions are and things like that. But this little girl is she's totally a second child, number one. And like the drag this girl is putting on this movie. And I got to like the last act where now there's peril and ticking clock, but how we got there again with that little girl. I was like, yo, man, I'm done. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. It's dumb. It's such a it's trying to be this movie about like too many things at once. I guess Louis Leterrier is working out some COVID stuff. I don't know. But
it did seem
dumb.
like it had a lot of parallels to COVID. I watched all of it yesterday. Not great. I think like one of there were some interesting concepts. The idea of like not only one family, but almost every single person on Earth being trapped inside of a house is actually a really interesting premise. And ultimately it just feels like they don't really do a lot with it. I think there are one or two scenes where I'm like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Also, the reveal of what is happening is so dumb. It's when they reveal ironically enough, the little girl kind of figures out what's happening and goes, here's what's happening, and she's like she's like pointing to a book and these pictures, and I'm like, that's really dumb. That's very not good. So it was unfortunate because it just kind of felt like it felt like an episode of The Twilight Zone, but like expanded way longer than it should have, and like didn't wrap as interesting as it could have, which was really unfortunate. Yeah, this is an easy skip for folks. I think like even It's tough to like. Yeah, it's not good. It's not a great movie.
All right, well there you go.
All right, so let's move into Absolute Batman, which I did,
which is good, very good.
Yeah, which is good, which is good. Yeah. So obviously, spoilers coming in for Absolute Batman number 23. This is the the intervention is really what this issue, half of this issue is all about. But then also we get the full debut. We have seen him previously, but we get the full unleashed debut of Absolute Clayface, which is really cool. And look, like I said, we're getting into spoilers here because we can't not talk about what happens, because number one, the death in the family homage that is there within the pages here when Batman is holding a dead Robin, which is huge. But it's also the fact that it's Tim, which I thought was super interesting because, like, yes, Tim has, died in the main continuity, but it's still like, when that kind of moment happens, you assume it's either going to be, Grayson, maybe Damian, obviously Jason, but like, I don't know. I actually thought like Tim was the pick there. It kind of made sense within that context to give that moment, but then also just the complete and utter breakdown that Bruce is having. And it's not even it's one of those things where, like, yes, he's kind of bonkers, but he's also onto something too. So you can't outright dismiss it all. They play with that concept in a really interesting way, I thought. So, I mean, I'm in on this, but this is one of the issues where it's like, your hero is just all over the damn place, and you're just trying to figure out, like, hope that they can make it through sane. It's really interesting stuff, but I dig it. What did you guys think?
It was a talkie, but it did a lot. I mean, there's a lot that happens in this in this issue. Like, it is pretty crazy. Like, yeah. And a lot of it is dense, but it is the stuff that Scott Snyder does best and does understand, is like the core psychology of Batman and the psychological imbalance of Batman and just his issues, and his kind of this self-centering need to take it all on himself and things like that, and to the point, and all the things that have been building up in him. Like, what I like about this is there's just so many still layers of grief to this Bruce Wayne that he hasn't dealt with, and we see that come out in the scene with his mom and Martha. And this is a very different take where this Bruce Wayne's about to like bash his mom head in, right? But it's all the issues, like he's been lied to, he's been manipulated, he's been through all this stuff, and he's been experimented on. Like, he's been like, this Bruce Wayne's been through a lot. So this is Batman having to deal with his issues, which is always some of the most interesting Batman stuff, but it could also be some of the most dragging stuff if you don't do it right. But this did it pretty well.
I think like one of the strengths that Absolute Batman really has is being able to buck expectations. And like one of my favorite moments of this, because I thought for sure once Bane had effectively turned all of Bruce's friends into the villains that we all know them to be, I thought for sure like they would hate Bruce forever, they would never see him again, kind of thing. And so having all four of them come back and like enter Bruce's Batcave and just talk to him and be like, dude, you're effing nuts. Like, Penguin telling him, like the Penguin telling him that as like, it's like his black teeth, and he's like on his crutches that are like AK-47s or whatever. And he's like, you're crazy, Bruce. And it's like, okay, this is a neat twist. That worked really well. I do also really like this creepy take on Clayface, like the fact that he's impersonating so well that he's like, he doesn't even have any dialogue of his own. He's effectively taking whatever Bruce says and kind of warping it and throwing it back at him. Very interesting take. I do also find it very interesting that they decided to again, another case of bucking expectations. Everybody, I'm sure, like everybody reading it was like, oh, this is where they'll kill Jason Todd. to kind of reflect it. And it's like, nope, they killed Tim Drake, and Jason, you know, kind of F's up pretty big in terms of, you know, kind of hot dogging it and everything, and not immediately, you know, realizing that, you know, Clayface was right around the corner and everything. Yeah, another killer issue from Absolute Batman, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's there's a lot happening here. That's so, I just think it's, and also when they zoom out, the artwork in this is incredible. But when they zoom out and you see how all of the pieces of evidence are linking, and it's the Joker's fate, like that those little
good.
details,
that was awesome.
those are so cool. I just think they do that kind of thing so well. And yeah, this is, I mean, look, and we even get like insight to like Pennyworth and his daughter and all of that at the beginning, right? Like there's so much here. Like Kofi said, it's dense. There's a lot here if you kind of try to unpack all of it, but they do such a good job of like doing that and yet not losing the main through line here, which is Bruce is devolving into just being nuts. However, he's not wrong because Joker and like Grimm and stuff is linked to all this stuff. And right when he starts breaking down how all of the other people are linked to Grimm and like how they have a thing, he's like, I love Penguin's great, and this is like an MVP. But he's like, I just get a truck. I don't like, who cares? I don't do all that. So good. Like I could just have a Penguin book at this point. He's such a cool character. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that was Absolute Batman number 23. Awesome stuff. Did anyone else read Yumi 00EX?
Yeah, I have one question for you. What the hell, man? This was long as hell.
I appreciate Matt picking books that I otherwise would never have read. Otherwise, I had not heard of this before, so this is
number one. You can find my full review on this because I actually did it a couple of weeks ago, and then it launched today. So I did it a couple of weeks ago. You can find my full review on Comic Book of Yumi because I thought this was, I love a good secret agent spy story. But at this point, and even like with like some of the Bond relaunches and things like that, like at this point, it is hard to do that kind of story and kind of give me something I haven't really seen, or have a little bit of a take on something and catch my attention that way. And this one very much did that, both from the approach of the main character to the artwork. I thought was super cool and stylish, and especially like it switches styles when we're talking in flashback when she's actually talking about. So essentially the premise of this is Yumi is a kind of anti-spy. Essentially she's very good at killing people and infiltrating things, but she's got essentially the love of her life that she has figured out is the love of her life from a very small interaction from small interactions of an actual 00 agent. He has gone missing. And so she's essentially trying to track him down. She does so by infiltrating MI6 headquarters, and it's this giant action sequence. But what I love is just she's talking to her dad through like the first part of this mission on the phone, and he keeps interjecting randomly, and like she won't hang up the call. And there's all this back and forth, like random family stuff as like people are getting killed, and she's going up the stairs. It's this really big action sequence, but it's paired with this really fun, comedic, lighthearted stuff. I really dig that combo. And that's especially true later, because about over midway through, she ends up like meeting kind of the Q, if you're a Bond fan, the Q of this agency, and he makes all these gadgets, and he has his car. And we end up getting a Cardi B voiced car that pairs with Yumi, because she like has her hacker
you
friend.
You are already losing me.
It's so good.
Describing all this.
It's like, so good.
You are losing me all over again.
It's like, so fun. It's bonkers and it's fun, and I loved it. God. And yeah, so good. So
hard pass.
This is why. Yeah.
Hard pass.
I loved it.
All right. I'm out.
Evan, what did you think?
I was like kind of, I wouldn't say I'm out. Like I would say that like this was pretty cool in terms of like, I really love the artwork in this. I think like the energetic visuals and everything, and like it I did not know what to expect. I hadn't heard of this before you recommended it, Matt. And so I was pretty surprised in terms of like, you know, seeing you know, all the different like action set pieces here, as well as again, like the energetic, that one scene I did get a laugh out of, where like the memes are popping up or whatever, and it's like Picard from Star Trek, and I can't remember all of them that are that were thing, but that was a nice little fun thing. I think like it's kind of interesting to clearly follow a protagonist who's not all there. I thought like she's clearly has an affinity for this one dude. Like the raccoon bit was really like completely ridiculous. I had a lot of fun with that. Yeah, so I was surprised by this one. It wasn't what I was expecting at all. But yeah, it was a good time. Like I'm gonna keep reading it. I'm gonna add this to like the pull list.
Sir Glean, this was like reading a James Bond story for Generation Alpha with like the scatterbrained, meme-filled, anime-influenced, violent, hyper, but like violence is hyper, comedic violent. Like, yeah, it's for the Roblox kids. It was nuts. My brain like hurt after this. I'm it. You can close the show. I'm out.
I try to keep everyone on their toes, man. Yeah, so you can find my full review on it. And this was fun. But that's comics.
All right, that's it. That's the show. I'm out. Like I said, this one broke my brain. But go out there, check out some comics, play some games. I have a secret lab chair to put together. We're all going to be busy this weekend. This is Comic Book Nation, D23. We will be doing coverage. Check Comicbook.com often, because not only will we be telling you what happened, but breaking down what it means and giving you all the kind of insider knowledge you expect from us. So we'll be working. We'll see you out there. We are Comic Book Nation. Peace.